Hey Dad, my period is starting soon, so I think I'm gonna need pads and chocolate. What are you doing?
I'm reading the Bible. My parents used to read the Bible to me when I was a kid, and I've never stopped reading it since.
You mean to tell me that your parents exposed you to the disgusting concept of religion when you were only a tiny little child?
Yeah, when I was like 2 or 3, I asked my parents to read it to me. I think it's good for kids to be exposed to religion. Look at you. I never read you the Bible, and you're the Antichrist.
I am not the Antichrist, I am anti-Nazi. Besides, if Jesus were around today, I'm pretty sure he'd be a Nazi himself.
Wasn't Jesus Jewish? Anyway, religion is a good thing. Heck, I'd even be fine for kids being exposed to religion in schools.
What? So you're fine with children being exposed to religion before they can fully decide for themselves? Resulting in brainwashing and possible life-altering consequences?
Hey Femson, how do you feel about transgender children undergoing irreversible hormone therapy?
Brave, bold, beautiful. Kids as young as 3 years old can choose their gender and begin transitioning. What's the problem?
What's up everybody, it's your favorite gay-looking straight boy Hunter Avalone here, back with another video. Today we have a controversial topic to discuss. It's a topic that is sure to send shivers down your spine. I really hope that you're brave enough to watch this entire video, because today, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about transgender kids. It's time to stop! That's right everyone, in the 1990s it was, "Hey Timmy, pick your Capri Sun." And now in the current year it's, "Hey Timmy, pick your hormones." Kids should be running around picking their nose, not their gender. Obviously, I am being a bit hyperbolic. However, the concept of transgender kids transitioning has once again hit mainstream attention with the James Younger case. Now, I'm sure most of you know what I'm referring to, but for the homeschoolers watching this video, James Younger is a 7-year-old Dallas, Texas area child whose gender identity is part of a bitter and now politicized custody dispute between his parents, with the child's mother demanding that James be treated as a girl and is transgender, and the father insisting that James was born biologically a boy and should be treated as one. I've covered this topic in previous videos, but the case is really heating up now, especially after a Texas jury ruled that the father should not have sole authority to make decisions regarding the child. This is an extremely complicated issue, because James acts like a girl around his mother, and his school even recognizes him as a girl named Luna. However, when James is with his father, he behaves like a normal boy, refusing to wear girl clothes, and the purported gender dysphoria never shows up. I think this alone is proof enough as to why transgender kids transitioning is such a risky business. It's because kids are easily influenced. James behaves like a girl around his mother and a boy around his father. The influence is obvious. Shocking footage even reveals that James told his father that his mother told him he was a girl.
I'm a girl.
Who told you you were a girl?
Mommy.
When did she tell you you were a girl?
'Cause I love girls.
Oh, I see. So mommy told you you were a girl?
Uh-huh.
Does mommy do anything else like with a girl with you?
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
Like kisses.
What does she do?
She do put them on me.
She puts dresses on you?
She paints my nails.
Why does she do that?
'Cause I love like nail polish.
Oh. So mommy puts you in a dress and puts nail polish on you? Mm-hmm. And what does mommy tell you?
She tells me I'm a girl.
If you still need more proof about the heavy influence on James, according to the Texan, the mother claims she noticed James was identifying as a girl when he wanted a girl's toy from McDonald's, wanted to wear dresses, and imitated female Disney characters from Frozen. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that correctly. The mother believes her son to be transgender because he wanted a girl toy from McDonald's. I mean, are we serious here? What's next? The kid wants a strawberry milkshake, but since it's pink, he identifies as a girl. Seriously, this does not mean the kid is transgender and certainly not transsexual. When I was 6 or 7, I'd play dress up with my little sister and just goof around. It doesn't mean you should start calling me Hunterina. This is my first point as to why transgender kids and the concept of early transitioning needs to be handled properly. Encouraging a transition, whether socially or medically, is dangerous and oftentimes unnecessary. According to SciPost, they followed up on 127 transgender kids. Despite being in the Netherlands, where gender transition surgery is free, 63% of cases desisted. There are 12 such studies in all, and they all came to the very same conclusion. The majority of kids cease to feel transgender when they get older. This is why, for this particular instance, I agree with James's father's approach, to watch and wait and see if James continues to exhibit gender dysphoria, or if it desists with age, as is the case with most transgender children. Regardless, I think we can learn a lot from this tragic James Younger case. For one, Epstein didn't kill himself. For two, although James is only being encouraged to socially transition right now, this hasn't stopped those in the medical field to push for hormone therapy for extremely young kids. According to NBC, doctors are now considering allowing children to undergo hormone therapy at earlier ages in order to change their bodies. Under current guidelines, that type of treatment is reserved for children 16 and older. However, the authors of the new guidelines are considering striking that age requirement so children could begin hormone therapy earlier. Social transitioning is one thing, but I have a serious issue with kids undergoing irreversible medical transitions. Despite the fact that many trans kids grow out of it, hormone therapy is a huge step that honestly shouldn't be left up to small impressionable children. Children aren't able to get tattoos, drink alcohol, or get married. But now we're pushing for young kids to receive hormone therapy, much of which is irreversible. According to PBS, while the Endocrine Society's guidelines suggest 16, more and more children are starting hormones at 13 or 14 once their doctors, therapists, and families have agreed that they are mentally and emotionally prepared. The physical changes that hormones bring about are irreversible, making the decision more weighty than taking puberty blockers. Some of the known side effects of hormones include things that might sound familiar: acne and changes in mood. Another potential dilemma facing transgender children, their families, and their doctors is this: taking cross hormones can reduce fertility, and there isn't enough research to find out if it is reversible or not. So when children make the decision to start taking hormones, they have to consider whether they ever want to have biological children. Still think it's woke and progressive to allow children to undergo hormone therapy? This is an absurd amount of responsibility to put on a 13 or 14-year-old child. When I was 13, I was running around the woods building forts and playing with Legos. Now we're letting 13-year-olds decide if they want to permanently sterilize themselves because they may be transgender or they may grow out of it? This is pathetic and dangerous, and anyone who thinks otherwise obviously hasn't bothered to look at the facts. You may think that's bad, but my friends, I'm afraid it gets far worse. Last year, a taxpayer-funded researcher studying to validate transgenderism performed double mastectomies on girls as young as 13 years old. Some physicians in the United States are performing double mastectomies on healthy 13-year-old girls. The justification is gender dysphoria. The girls now identify as boys and therefore want to look like boys. Yes, you heard correctly. Girls as young as 13 or 14 years old are undergoing surgery to have their breast tissue removed. Think about when you were a 13-year-old child. There is no way in hell that this is appropriate, and I truly hope that these poor girls do not grow up to regret their decision. Children should not be encouraged or allowed to make life-altering decisions that could destroy their future. On the flip side, I do understand that some kids truly do suffer from gender dysphoria, and I know transgender kids are at a much higher risk of suicide. That's why it's important to handle this topic with caution while doing what's best for young, impressionable kids. In the rare case that a child is suffering from severe gender dysphoria, the best option sometimes is puberty puberty blockers, not to be confused with hormone therapy. However, this should not be taken lightly, it should not be encouraged, and it should only be available as a last resort since transgender kids have a 40% higher suicide rate. Puberty blockers are oftentimes used for cases outside of transsexualism, and they are sometimes even given to children for other reasons. For example, if a child begins puberty too early, they may be given puberty blockers, which are completely reversible. Even so, the risks need to be known, and this should not be encouraged and only be available as a last resort. According to PBS, another area where doctors say there isn't enough research is the impact that suppressing puberty has on brain development. The bottom line is we don't really know how sex hormones impact any adolescent's brain development. We know that there's a lot of brain development between childhood and adulthood, but it's not clear what's behind that. What's lacking are specific studies that look into the neurocognitive effects of puberty blockers. There are risks involved, and unless there are no other options available, the potential harm of puberty blockers could be outweighed by the imminent danger of remaining in a gender dysphoric mental state. I am not in favor of puberty blockers as a treatment. However, I can at the very least understand the argument as to why some kids may need them in extreme cases. The left's attempt to normalize transitioning children is ridiculous and wrong, and I guess a contributing factor to the skyrocketing amount of young people who now identify as transgender. I can only begin to understand the argument for allowing extremely dysphoric children to take puberty blockers in extreme cases as a last resort. But the left isn't stopping there. Instead, we're witnessing a shocking push for irreversible hormone therapy for children and underage girls receiving double mastectomies. Children are children. They are not capable of making life-altering decisions. We don't expect them to in any other cases besides transgenderism. Ladies and gentlemen, do what's best for the kids, not what's best for looking woke.